Well, hello everybody. It is June, end of June, June 27th, I think. Um, I am Maya, for those of you that do not know, and I'm sure that all of you know. And this is our little suburban homestead. We are in Orange County, New York, um, on a little third of an acre, I think, in the city that we have turned into our kind of backyard farm. So let's see what all the plants are doing. Um, Midsummer. All right, hold on. Let me flip you around so you can see. Okay, so let's start with this. I'm very excited to see it go. These are climbing green beans that will hopefully climb up this piece of driftwood from my friend's wedding. So that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Some volunteer sunflowers. Dill, very, very happy in its place, self-seeded. This is again the Soyuzuka dill from the Ukrainian Heritage Camp up in Sullivan County. Struggled for years to get dill to take off here and nabbed myself a seed head there, and it's been happy ever since. Some lettuce that's gone over. It's going to go to seed. We'll let it self-seed and then I'll gather some seeds. Hot peppers finally getting some weather that they appreciate. So let's see what else is going on here. Cucumbers starting to come in finally. These are silver slicers, which I've never grown before. They are a white cucumber. Looks like Banicula had at them. They're supposed to be delicious. I don't know. Never had them, never grown them, but they are going to come on up. Now there are cucumbers over here that the dill is a bit choking out. So I don't know if they'll win the fight against my dill monsters, but usually we have swallowtail butterfly caterpillars on there. None this year so far that I can see, but hopefully they are just a little late in the game. Garlic is coming out this week. We started harvesting. You can see when the tips start to turn brown like this, but before the whole stem dies, that's when you want to pull up. The kind of farmer's wisdom in this area is 4th of July is the time to harvest your garlic. So we began that, and then I will show you at some point how we hang it downstairs to let it cure so it stores. That's the rose. She had a good trim done for now with most of the blossoming. Might get some again in the fall, but pretty much taking a rest. And then over here in the corner is the Lady of Shalott, who we won't get blooms on this year, but is coming in very strong for a bare root rose. So that's kind of a mess of raspberries in the corner. And then the Nepeta in the corner, doing its thing, keeping pollinators and teaspoon happy. This mess here, I know it does look like a mess, but it is rutabaga, parsnips, and carrots, and then I shoved some summer squash in the midst of it. The goal is to kind of confuse the squash bugs with the amount of other vegetation that's in here, in the hopes that they will not find the squash plants. But let's see, without making you seasick, if I can show you what's going on down here. Because I know there were some, oh, there it is. You see that little round guy? It's forming, so hopefully we'll get some of those. Now, if I was a good garden blogger, you think that I would have remembered the types or the names of anything that I sowed, but I'm not that organized at this point in my life. But we'll see when they grow, and I bet we can identify them then. So this is a little borage. Borage is kind of just all over throughout the garden. It is edible. It's mostly for the pollinators. I think that's a mammoth sunflower. Put itself there. Birds put it there. This is the unruly potato bed. These guys have bloomed and the greens are starting to die back, which means that it's going to be time to start digging up some potatoes from this bed and turning it over to something else. On the trellis there, that's one of my loofahs that actually seemed super happy just being in this bed and living it up with the potatoes. I'll show you the other one that is not in the potato bed and it doesn't look anywhere near as fully formed as that one, but I don't know, that's a long shot. That's a definitely like a subtropical African gourd type plant. I don't know if we're going to have the weather to make it come to fruition. So this is one of the happy tomato beds. These tomatoes are gigantic and sprawly. I had to tie them up to the trellises. They're happy. They're doing their thing. I will show you some other tomatoes in Counterpoint. It's a mystery, garden mystery. This summer squash is super happy here. It's right under where the hose is, so it's getting drips every time we water. Very well watered, very well repleted bed. Any type of summer or winter squashes, they're all heavy feeders. It's cohabitating with the catnip, which Dave rescued from the cats. Oh, did you see that firefly? I don't know if you can see him on camera, but the fireflies are out. Rain barrel, best thing we did this year, going strong. This was the bed we pulled the garlic out of. These onions, red onions, I don't know, they're a little squiggly and squirrely. I don't know if it was inconsistent watering or what. They just don't seem very happy to me. I guess worst case, it'll just kind of be like spring onion scallions. I'll just have to chop them up as we harvest them and use them. That is the dinosaur kale is what we call it. Some narrow to something is the Italian name for it. That's my favorite type of kale. And that is finally starting to come in and be healthy. It had some pretty heavy pest pressure early on in the spring, but it's doing better. These tomatoes also happy, out of control, doing their thing. Quickly outgrowing their bounds. These tomatoes right next door, I don't know. It's like they're stunted. And same with these. I can't imagine the light is that much different. So, don't know. Same dirt, who knows. Our blackberry bush, a ton of blackberries on there. That's Teaspoon's favorite sleeping spot. Look at these beautiful cabbages. Cabbages really are just so lovely, aren't they? They kind of remind me of roses. And we have some nasturtium blossoms coming in, little pops of color. A little bit more borage. Funny little runty, stunty tomatoes. This you'll get a kick out of. The peas. I threatened them by pulling out all of their brethren, and so now they are producing peas like mad. They will have to come out soon because they are competing for space with my pickling cucumbers. I think these are Chicago pickling. These are Boston pickling. They'll meet in the middle. So the peas have got to go soon. But for now, enjoying them as shell peas and as snap peas. And then down here, somewhere down here, do you see that little guy? That's a ghost pepper. He's growing. Oh, I gotta get that. I'm gonna untangle those cucumber vines from one another. But funny little eggplant, not doing super well. Hopefully with this hot weather that we have coming, we will see some more growth on him. All right, let us. My favorite sculpture that I inherited from my family. I think my mom got that and I absolutely adore it. Sunflower. So this is the borage corner going wild. The pollinators love it. I saw ladybugs over here before this morning. These are the potatoes in the pots. They'll be coming out soon as well. They're starting to get a little crispy looking. I want to show you guys these. This is the first year we planted this blueberry bush, and it's giving us little blueberries. They're quite tasty. Nothing I can make a pie with or anything, but you know, hey, I got some blueberries. Green beans are starting to come in. We have some chives that we started. That's the Dracula celosa, something along those lines. I have no idea what this is. It's growing here. I don't know if I planted it or if it's a weed. We'll see. These are lots of garlic that are going to come out, but they're also interplanted with onions, and so in contrast to the red onions that were all squirrely and weren't making bulbs, I wanted to show you these guys who are making bulbs. So onion growing, it's always a expanding learning experience. That's a garlic scape that somehow we missed in the great garlic scape harvest. Pecan trees, thanks Liz and Gigi. Kiddie pool onions, smaller, not bulbing up quite as much. Not sure they're getting enough sun. Just kind of a weird year. They did really well in this last year, so we may move it into more sun next year. And then this bed is finally starting to look like it's doing something with itself. These are two different types of summer squash. Look at this foliage on this. Even if it didn't make food, it's so pretty. That is the other loofah, and you can see it's just not as happy. Sunflower row coming up. Cucamelon, we made a compromise. I got a little trellis, Church sleeps under it now, and everybody's happy. Cucamelon's doing its thing. Hollyhocks are actually starting to grow. And then, well, this isn't pretty, I wanted to show you. Borage is one of these plants that you can use as a sacrificial plant. So you can see, hopefully if the camera focuses, there. Do you see aphids, something all over this? But they're not on the other plants because they're preferentially eating this instead. This also gives all the ladybugs something to eat. So it's like a natural form of pest control, and it's a sacrificial plant. So leaving it there, letting them do their thing, and it keeps them off of my other plants, which is pretty cool. Lemon tree making lemons, orchid cactus covered in blossoms. I will probably sign off for this evening at here, and then we can pick up for the other side of the garden and then the front garden later on this week. All right, guys, have a beautiful night. Stay healthy, be safe, and happy gardening. Bye.